Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Intercepted. Today I have another special guest, my guy Case Keenum, bro. Appreciate you coming on the show. Listen, man, this is a great episode this week. Obviously coming off of another crazy, they call us the Cardiac Bears, another crazy win against obviously our division rival, the Green Bay Packers. Let's start off like this. Tell me your vantage point from the game-winning touchdown that Caleb threw, because I'm gonna tell you mine, but I want to hear yours first.
Well, I do think this episode of your podcast might be a little bit different.
Yeah, but
Well, I mean, to get me to go on an Intercepted podcast here,
hey man,
I do have to say props to you, man. You are my favorite Bear on the team, man. I love being your teammate, man. It's been so much fun. Spending so much time with you, like we talked about earlier today. All the heart-to-heart chats, man, that we've had. Sauna Talk. Yeah, that's our next podcast. Man, it's been such a pleasure to share the field with you. And, yeah, it's totally different perspective from what maybe a defensive player and how the end of that game happened. But, golly, was it special, man.
where were you? Were you? Obviously, I know you're probably standing right by like the opposite line, the quarterback. Like, what was that?
Yeah, out the start of that drive, Ben was calling. I mean, he was out for blood.
He was diving.
I mean, you guys got the stop on fourth down, turnover. It's our ball overtime. I do not think he had field goal in mind any point during that drive, man. And he had plenty of shots left in the chamber, and he was firing on all cylinders. And man, that play call came in, and I was behind the play, so wherever the offense is, I'm on the far side of that, just to try to get a vantage point of view, like behind Caleb to see his feet, or behind the defense to kind of see how you guys adjust, to whatever formations we have. But I was behind it when I saw they were in cover zero, man, because we were in that fringe area.
Yeah.
Obviously thinking that all we needed to get to was maybe the 35.
Yeah.
Cairo had been kicking his absolute butt off, man. And I don't think people realize, to start off with the kicking and the throw, how hard the wind was blowing.
It was blowing heavy. I mean, even from the TV copy, it were like Gatorade cups like rolling onto the field. It was actually a video of the Packers play call sheet.
I was right there.
Really?
That's the first time I've ever seen.
Never seen that.
Like a play call sheet for a coach. That's like, that's your Bible.
It's sacred.
We got your sacred. And they have tight grips on that thing. And for a game like that, for a play call sheet to fly out of a coach's hand, made it all the way to our sideline.
And I feel like if somebody working for us ended up passing it back over.
I think it was good. We get it to ball boy. You can see this coach was halfway on the field. Get that play call sheet. I don't even know what we would get from it at that right. But to say all that, he was blowing hard.
It was.
And Kyra, awesome kicks, man. Aim down outside. It's like aim.
I think the last one he hit that was like 50 yards. I was like, when I tell you, I didn't even look. I didn't even look at the screen because I was so nervous, because I'm like, it's gonna be a tough kick. 50 plus December, Soldier Field.
Well, and Caleb, we had the intentional grounding call right before the rule. That rule has been, it's very difficult to tell, like, hey, this receiver was supposed to run a go. We just threw it, here. So,
officiating in the NFL this year has been, I don't want to get fined, but it's very subjective. Very subjective. That's all I'm going to say. Very, very inconsistent in my opinion.
But a great kick in the wind. The throw, though, going back to that moment, man, Caleb rolls out. Before the snap, we see it's cover zero. The safeties are down. The fact that Ben had showed that play, that exact same play versus that same coverage that we ran in practice to the team.
I remember that. DJ caught it in practice too.
It was almost a better ball in practice. The wind was not blowing quite there as practice, but it was the perfect look. He called it the perfect time.
Mm-hmm.
Caleb made the perfect throw.
Perfect. It was a dot.
Like, DJ made a great catch.
He basically couldn't see the ball.
He couldn't see the ball.
Out and draped all over.
Had him, and it was pretty sticky coverage.
Yeah, it was. It was good coverage. PI, in my opinion.
Who's to say there?
I like the fact that the refs kind of let them play. I like that, actually.
It was an incredible moment, man.
Yeah.
What a play. Electric atmosphere, Soldier Field. This is a rivalry that in my book is one of the more special ones I've been a part of.
Definitely.
And to have a moment like that was pretty awesome.
Bro, I remember, so I'm sitting on the sideline, I'm kind of on the bench, and
Uh-huh.
first, let's talk about even before that. I remember we was on the sideline talking to the guys when we got the ball back. We were just kind of talking, like, going through scenarios like, hey, like, we scored a touchdown. Like, we're going for 2, right? Like, Finn's going to go.
Oh, the previous trip.
Yeah, we're all on defense saying, like, we're going to go for 2. We're going to go for 2. And obviously, he kicked the field goal. And I was kind of shocked by it. I was like, normally Ben is aggressive in that scenario, but we didn't. But I remember I was sitting on the bench right before the play. And I watch from the big screen because I'm just sitting down trying to stay warm.
Yeah.
And I never forget because I was watching the opposite screen for some reason. I don't know why. And so when I seen him drop back and he set up, I remember just seeing him throw the ball, and I immediately, like, my eyes went straight to the sky. And it was literally like a movie, bro. I started to stand up, and it felt like I was going to slow, but I started to stand up because I actually wanted to see it. And, bro, when he called the ball, bro, it was like, it's probably one of the loudest I've ever heard Soldier Field. Soldier Field was rocking Saturday night. Like, when I talk about playoff game, that was playoff game atmosphere. It was so loud. I think he had over 60,000 fans. I don't remember the last time it's probably been like that, but it was incredible. But that play, it was just crazy. It was a movie. Like I said, I've been a part of some really cool games. That was probably tops in my book. I know if you've been a part of some really cool games, and I'm not sure that's going to top the Minnesota Miracle, but it has to be a close second. I mean, it has to be.
It is. And I think what's fun about those games and what I think our team is prepared for, and maybe my team was not as prepared for, because we had the Minnesota Miracle, incredible play, Diggs, walk-off, playoff, touchdown to go to the NFC Championship, and we got our butts kicked the next week. I think the Bears, we've had 5 or 6 of these.
I think 6 comebacks. Yep.
And, man, we are built for it. I promise you, Ben is driving home Saturday night thinking about ways to beat the San Francisco 49ers.
Oh, that force.
That's his mindset.
I was thinking about it already, like literally walking off the field. Like, he shook Matt LaFleur's hand. How we're going to beat the 49ers. He's really like always that dialed in.
He is, man. And he's always forward thinking. He's in the moment, man. And it has been so much fun being a part of this culture that we built here in our building.
Yeah.
And you've been here longer than I have, and you've seen a lot of buildings, but golly, it's fun. And those moments, what's fun is when you have them in December, they make for bigger moments in January.
Exactly.
And bigger moments in months after that too. So it's exciting.
No, it's been special. This culture is absolutely one of the more special courses I've been a part of, because like you said, normally a winning season like this, you need about maybe 1 or 2 games to kind of swing your way in that way. We've done it a lot more than 1 or 2 times. Like you said, 6 games, I think we've won, come back for either 10 points more or just being able to come back in the game. I think it just speaks to the character of the guys we have on the team. And it's never like any panic on the sideline. I've been a part of some teams, and even a little bit last year, where like you get down in these situations and it's just like, oh man, here we go again. Or it's just kind of guys getting flushed under each other, kind of bickering, pointing fingers. And it's always like, I remember I was standing next to Al, because I was actually mic'd up for the game. I'm pretty sure it's going to release, but I was kind of talking to Al about this past game. We were literally just talking like, we're going to score right here. When we score, we're going to get the ball back. We're going to do this. It's like, we're always just kind of thinking like, some way, somehow, we're going to win the game. And like I said, I just think it's special. And, me being in year 10, you being 10 plus, is like, you really got to cherish and appreciate these moments, because, they don't happen that often. You know what I mean? It's like, obviously, we watched the games yesterday, and Steelers ended up beating the Lions. Ironically, Aaron Rodgers starting for the Steelers, was just pretty crazy, kind of like I said, storybook stuff. But obviously, we're able to clinch the playoffs now. So we know we're going to be in the dance. We got a ticket, which is super cool. But let me ask you, just as a veteran, as a leader, one of the leaders on this team, how do you make sure that the teams is, like I said, we're going to the playoffs, we know that, but there's so much more left to accomplish. We still haven't won a division. That's not there.
Yeah.
We're still shooting to try to get to a 1 seed. How do you keep the team's mindset, or let's say, for example, Caleb or whatever it may be, keep our mindset still focused on what's ahead and not kind of like just settling and saying that, hey, we made it to the playoffs. Hey, we can rest. We can kind of chill now.
We got good.
Yep.
We're not quite the better.
Mm-hmm.
We're definitely not the best.
Yeah, here I go.
So, to play off that, I just, like you said, being around, we've been around. You just never know when you're going to be on a team or in a position that we're in where it's the right combination of people at the right time. And that is from, training, EQ to coaches to players, and like in all at different times. And you're right. We have a special group offensively, specifically. I don't know who's going to be our best player on the field on any given night. You know what I'm saying? And not even to say best player on the field, but like who's going to be premier, who's going to be a guy that's feeling it, like who's going to step up and make the play.
Right.
And when it's not a certain person like DJ, he's had a heck of a career. He's done it consistently for years and years and years. And he's not getting fed at a certain time in a game or maybe over 3 quarters.
Correct.
He didn't come over there and complain.
Exactly.
He sits right by Caleb, and those guys were talking like, hey, on to the next one. And they have 2 or 3 of the biggest hits, that always of the game. Jade, man, coming in. Who knew?
Jade.
Yeah, I mean, come on, man.
Talk about staying ready for your opportunity.
There's no doubt. I love that.
Jade is one of my favorite teammates, bro. Like, when I tell you, like, there's certain guys on this team, including you as well, but certain guys that, like, Jade, there's, like, every day just comes in and just appreciates just the opportunity. You know what I mean? Like, he shows up every single day, energy, like, it's my energizer buddy. Every guys coming in with energy, and you just kind of knew, like, him getting his opportunity to play, he was going to find a way to make his moment in that game.
He also had a great week of practice.
He did.
Like, it may not have, like, showed up on big splash plays during practice, but, like, man, he had the right splits. He had the right leverage.
That's the little red that nobody right.
And for a rookie to come in and do that is that hadn't done a lot of it, that had more of a special teams guy and hadn't really been called on to run a bunch of routes and block and be in the right place when they pressure. And Caleb's got to get it up in the back of the end zone. So, and it's just been a fun story this year of who's going to step up at what time. And it's been offense, it's been defense, it's been special teams.
It's a team right there.
Yeah, I mean, and it's why it's football and sports. It's romantic, man. You can't write this stuff up. So,
and you kind of spoke about DJ. I definitely want to brag on DJ a little bit because I just feel like a lot of talk has been about, like, obviously him not having a production that he's normally, you spoke about it, not having a production that he's normally used to having, maybe not getting the targets he's used to having. But I think he's just such a selfless person, a selfless leader, because anybody, and we all know personalities of receivers. Every receiver in the league, if you're great, you want the ball.
Right.
And DJ wants the ball. I love that.
I want him how to come and be like, yeah, give it to me, and I like look at the film and he's like, bro, you had 3 guys on you.
Is that?
I don't mind that. Like, I prefer if they tell me when they're open, they're actually open. But I want a guy to come and want the ball. Yeah, just throw it up, bro. Let's throw it up. Like, I love when
and I think he's just been doing a great job of just, like, staying, like, keeping the main thing the main, and it's winning. And a lot of people will say that and be like, oh, man, I want to win. And, like, I haven't had a winning season, but then you're winning, and then it's like, oh, well, you're not getting the lion's share of the success or being the reason for it. You kind of see, like, is it winning or is it about you? And I think DJ has never made it about himself, even though we know everybody want to be a part of winning. But I think he's done a great job because whether it was last year, people say, oh, he bad body language or this and that and that. Man, DJ is a phenomenal player, a phenomenal person, a phenomenal teammate. Yeah. And I just got to brag on him because the past couple of games, man, he's made some big-time plays to help us win ball games. And I just think it has to be highlighted more because everybody want to highlight when things aren't going well. You know what I mean? Just got to highlight a guy like him.
No doubt. I wasn't around him very much. I watched him on film, and I didn't really know him until I got here. And you're exactly right, man. And a great dad, dude. I saw him FaceTiming his kids, but at a pregame meal.
Yeah. He has his family with him everywhere.
Yeah,
I love that, bro.
I do too.
I love that about him, man. So yeah, man, I definitely want to. We could transition just a little bit. Obviously, we're going to continue to talk about the Bears and stuff like that, but I want to talk about you, bro, because obviously, Case, man, most people don't know this, but this guy was a phenomenal quarterback in college. Obviously, went to Houston, started at Houston, still to this day, the NCAA's active leader in passing yards and touchdowns, only to be topped by Dylan Gabriel, but I'm pretty sure he was in college maybe a little bit longer. I'm not sure. But, no, man, he was a phenomenal quarterback. Obviously, started in Houston.
Undrafted, started in Houston, though.
Wow. Listen, That's my bad.
It's not. No,
I'm really gonna blame the producers, number one.
There's those undrafted guys up there. I'm repping for all those undrafted guys, man.
No, man. But listen, man, you're been obviously, like I say, you started in Houston. You've been in Houston 3 times. I think you played for 8 different teams. Talk about just your journey, obviously coming from having a declarated college career to going undrafted. How is that process for you?
You know, the whole draft and combine process coming out of school, you know, that whole thing is in itself, you know, crazy. And we talk a whole, you know, hours about that. And
I wasn't invited to the combine, so
exactly, ends up when you have enough people that are experts that are telling you too small, you don't have a strong enough arm, not fast enough, you don't have like all these things. It's easy to believe that those people, right, are doubters because they're experts, because they got a seat at some table, you know, on some show, instead of believing what's true and the people that believe in you, that have coached you, right. And I've always said that's truly what motivates me, for a little bit of a proving the doubters wrong. But yeah, I mean, to have the college career I had and have the success and then go undrafted, it was a perfect situation because I got to go with Coach Kubiak and be on the practice squad there in Houston for my first year and learn how to play professional quarterback.
Yeah.
But from there, my journey did wind and twist and been all over Houston, St. Louis, Houston, back to St. Louis, moved with the team to LA, Minnesota, Denver, Washington, Cleveland, Buffalo, back to Houston, man.
Yeah,
and out in the Bears. So it's been a winding story. I've been cut 3 times, traded 4 or 3. I'll remember. It's hard to keep track of sometimes, but yeah, I mean the ups and downs have been crazy, but it's brought me here.
Yeah.
You know, and I can look back and be thankful for all that God has taken me through, because you know, it's made me who I am, and I wouldn't trade a lot of those moments for anything. And that's kind of like talking about the other night, you know, that moment of that game and how special and where does it rank. And it's like, it's even hard to rank those moments because it is just an unbelievable memory and feeling that we're chasing. And I think all the fans that were there too, that's why they travel and live and breathe and sweat and bleed Bears, you know,
their money, you know,
it's in their money, and come out and support us, and you know, because they want to be there and they want to have that memory. I have videos of people that send me from the Minnesota Miracle about, oh, we were here, there. You know, I have a friend who his daughter was pregnant, was in the hospital having their baby during the Minnesota Miracle. They're watching the game. She's in labor. And so now, you know, that we're 8 years out of that now, her and her son watch the game on his birthday every day, Minnesota Miracle Day, because he's a Minnesota Miracle baby. So
that's insane.
It's fun, little stories like that. It's fun memories that we have that we'll remember everywhere. You'll remember that ball flying in the air,
absolutely.
You know, and then, you know, music playing in here, you know, slow motion. And it's incredible, man. It's a beautiful thing that we get to play a sport. I always say I'm a big kid.
Yep.
That never had to grow up.
I think we all are.
Playing a game for a living. And it's truly a blessing, and it's been a lot of fun to be here with the Bears and doing it.
Man, I think that's one of the things, like, so I think that's one of the reasons why you love this sport, because like your story is such a story of preservation, you know what I mean? And just resilience. Obviously, like you said, having to bounce around from team to team. I know for a fact, I'm not even going to guess, I know for a fact there had to be moments of doubt, like, hey, am I NFL quarterback? I'm a great quarterback. But like I said, you've been able to persevere and kind of make your mark on so many different places. And now at this stage in your career now, it's like, I kind of call you the quarterback whisperer in a way where it's like, you know, it may be not necessarily like you come in being the definite starter, but teams are bringing you in, hey, I want you to come compete. But at the same time, you're able to mentor some of these young quarterbacks. And we talked about this in the sauna earlier, like what you have up here and what you develop over the years is so valuable to not only these quarterbacks, but to the coaching staff as well. Like, I mean, in my opinion, you are a coach. You know what I mean? You're, in a way, obviously you're still a really good quarterback, great quarterback, but you're also able to be able to, like you said, we talked about, we watched the mic'd up from the Giants game. And I didn't even know how involved you were as well, but just like how much, like how you were talking to Caleb and just kind of rooting him on. And we talked about, like, y'all watched film together. Like, kind of talk about that process. You know, obviously you was in Houston last year, right, with C.J. Stroud. And just kind of talk about that phase of your career where you're at now, how much you just appreciate the moments to be able to be around some of these younger quarterbacks at the same time. help those guys with their game and kind of.
Yeah, we could talk a long time about that, and all those teams I told you about, man. Just some of the guys I've been around with, like Jared Goff, Josh Allen, Baker Mayfield, Sam Bradford, C.J. Stroud. Obviously,
That's a resume.
Yeah, I mean, and
within itself.
yeah,
and then like
Caleb. I mean, like there's so many guys that I've been in rooms with, and that room, which not many people get to, and it's an honor and privilege for me to still be in a quarterback room as a quarterback. So I don't take it lightly, but it is so special. The close knit bond that happens between one, the play caller, Ben, but then the coordinator, passing game coordinator, Ben, Press, Declan, and then JT, our quarterback coach, who with Caleb and Tyson and me, that's 7, 6, 7 people that you need to see the field the same way, right? And you all need to trust each other that we all are thinking the same thing. When the play's called, we hear a defense, and I know what Caleb is thinking by his body language and how he looks pre-snap, post-snap, and all those things. And that's the trust that has been built between the play caller, Ben, and Caleb. And we're all there as a group effort to help Caleb. And what you see, highlighted on game day with him making these huge plays and doing all these great things, is this effort, from the top down of us all going out and doing it. And it's fun to be a part of. That's why I said I ran straight out of the field and was jumping on. I threw that ball a little bit, and I know I didn't, but like it's so much fun. And that's the quarterback room in itself is this, it's such a fun dynamic where our decisions that we make are so important, and there's, a million that we make every play.
Exactly.
And in how we hear the play, what we're thinking when we hear the play, how we call it, who we look at in the huddle, when we break the huddle, where we're looking at, when we come on a scrimmage, make sure we find number 31 always, practice where he's not, things like that, and a million other that, that's why quarterback is the most special, I think, position in all sports. No one position in all of sports relies more on the entire team than the quarterback. And no team relies more on one position than the entire team relies on the quarterback in all of sports. I mean, a pitcher can sit up there and just throw it by people,
Sure.
And he relies on his team to make right. He could go by people, and hitter, he's up there by himself, but he's still like, he strikes out, he goes back to Cincinnati, he's got another shot, his tank can do it. Right. Quarterback, we touch the ball every play, we carry the hopes and dreams of an entire organization, of an entire city. And the Bears, Bears Nation is way beyond Chicago.
Incredible.
And they're coming. That's
fans.
Great fans. And we, that's what Caleb carries in those hands of his that are painted. We'll see what they're painted.
Yeah, they change them every week. I'm honestly, I'll be excited to see what kind of color he's going with this week. It's just the confidence he carries. I want to ask your opinion, because you talked about how many different voices or, opinions that maybe be, obviously y'all need to see it in the same way. I want to ask your opinion just on like the development of quarterbacks in the league today, because I think it's always like a topic of like, I feel like when I first came in the league, like I feel like young quarterbacks were kind of given a little bit of rope to be able to go out there and make. I mean, we talked about, I think everybody kind of knows when Peyton Manning first came in the league, he threw over 20-something interceptions. But obviously he's given the opportunity to continue to play and play. You look at a guy that's in Carolina now, Bryce Young, had an okay rookie year, but even last year he was benched. Like when they came and played us, he was on the bench at the time. Andy Dalton was starting, and he got it late in the game because we was kind of blowing him off, so he got in or whatever. Came back and started to play, and now he's balling right now. They obviously have an opportunity to win their division. I feel like nowadays quarterbacks aren't given enough time, or I would not even time grace, to be able to make mistakes. Because you just talked about, bro, like there's so many decisions that has to be made on every given play, and if you're wrong on one of them, it can be a disaster. Yeah, you know what I mean. And you make a couple of those, and then there's losses and whatever it may be. But what is your opinion on just how the development of quarterbacks are in today's time? Now, obviously, you get around a really good coach like Ben, that maybe the development speeds up, having guys like you in the room. But kind of talk about, how do you feel about the development of younger quarterbacks.
Yeah, I mean, this is another huge, I mean, we could spend another week on this. I think part of it, there's a trend of the amount of leash that GMs and head coaches have around the league.
Yeah.
And their leash is tighter. They tighten the leash on the next
everybody else gets and
the next guy. And like, it's, you see it. I don't know when this is going to come out, but I bet it's going to happen again, with certain guys that want to get benched here or there. And okay, let's see what this young guy's got. Oh, well, too bad. And it's just, it's so hard to translate. And I won't even take the 60 minutes we play. I'll look at your schedule during the week and how your
Monday through Saturday.
Or how do you prepare? Yeah. You go from like in college where you might have a game plan that's, however many plays, but you got class in the mornings, workouts, like, you might spend 5 or 6 hours, in the afternoon and evening studying. Like we are in here at 6 and we'll leave till 7 or 8, and it's 12 to 14 hour days. Our off day is recovery day. Like if you don't recover, and if you're not ready for Wednesday practice and have their base plan, pretty much the defense at least figured out, and the brand new offensive scheme that you're about to run on Wednesday before you go out to the walkthrough and practice field, you're behind.
Yeah, you're right.
And then once you're behind, like, okay, well, now you got media. Okay, you got to go do the media. Okay, now you got a charity event. Okay, well, I got to watch third down to get ready for Thursday. And all of a sudden it's 10 o'clock and you got to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning and go, so your routine throughout the week is something that I think is extremely hard. Yeah. And watching film as a young guy, I didn't know what I was watching. I remember I was
the same way too.
Yeah. And I was watching all these pressures and I would go watch it with my center, Chris Myers, and we'd go through, I'm like, how are we picking this up? Like, and I just start freaking out. Like, no, trust the rules.
Right.
Defense coordinators are too good. They're going to draw something up that you haven't seen. Trust the rules. And that's the way you go play. You do the best you can with what you can at the moment, and you leave that meeting, whatever meeting it is. Okay, I got that. Check off the list.
Yeah.
All right, next thing. Okay, run game. Let's get my run game checks. Okay, I got to do a call this play. First of all, I got to know what my criteria is. Is it, are we checking away from the rotation? Are we going to a tight tackle? Are we looking at edges? Are we looking at, what is this a pressure look? Do we need a clean box here? Okay. All right, good. I got my run game down. Okay. Now I'm going to pass game. Okay. What routes do I want to throw into this coverage? Okay. All the things that you can do.
Quarterback mind is going right now.
It is, man. You got me going. But that's the beauty of this sport and this game, and specifically quarterbacking, is you look at, there's a lot of different ways to do it.
Yeah.
Like if I go in the game versus Caleb goes in the game, it's going to look a lot different.
Yeah.
We can still win games.
Absolutely.
I was Josh Allen's backup. We almost had a different game plan for me when I was there. I didn't even pay attention to some of those quarterback runs. It's like, I'm not going to be running that, so whatever. Right. Stay your way. We're going to stay at our leg. Exactly. And that's quarterbacking, man. And that's the beauty of it. And it's just so much fun. It's this art combined with this science that, man, is just a silly game.
It's funny, bro, because like, we always joke and laugh, like, you'll see certain quarterbacks get contracts or whatever, or even baseball, but whatever it be, it's like, man, I should have played quarterback when I was younger. But it's like just hearing you talk about how complex the position really is. Mm-hmm. Like, honestly, I'm kind of glad I don't have that much pressure on me every single week because
you got pressure on you, brother. Sure, you're the quarterback of the defense, man. You're a last line of defense, man.
Which is true. But it's so funny because I'll never forget, sometimes we'll do our walkthroughs in the ITC. And one time it was one of y'all quarterback play call sheets sitting on the little desk over there. And I'm just kind of looking at some of the play calls. And I'm like, how in the world are y'all able to remember I don't know if y'all remember everything on that sheet, but to be able to call it out. And obviously every, maybe one word means this and this protection. This is the routes. This is maybe the check. And I'm just sitting here like, bro, I don't know how. It really is, bro.
In different offenses, I would say like there's a West Coast style, which I'm kind of, my roots are in. Mm-hmm. That's like an English to Spanish, like there's some similarities when you cross over into like the offense we're in. Right. And then you have other offenses that are like Mandarin. Like you just fully like numbers, looking at words coded, and it's like, ooh. But
and then for defense, it's like maybe 2 words. You got the front, you got the coverage. Now there's some checks within that.
Yeah.
But like at least when you initially get it, it's like, okay, I would say it's 1-2, and as far as the guy that's calling the plays, it's just so much different. Nah, that's pretty cool. But listen, I definitely want to transition before we get out of here. Obviously Christmas this week, right? Me and you are definitely obviously fathers. Your father 2, my father 3. Talk about what Christmas Eve is gonna look like for you. As far as, are you setting up any gifts? Are you staying up till 1 or 2 in the morning, putting together a Barbie dream house or whatever? Like, what's your Christmas plans?
You know, I think we may be able to get out of here on time. To do some Christmas Eve candlelight service.
Yeah, there you go.
We do like going to do that. You know, remembering the spirit of the season.
Real reason.
And yes, as I know you're a man of faith, I am as well, man. So I know I would not be here. I mentioned God before in my life. He has woven together the path of me football wise, but man, me off the field, my wife and I, we struggled to have kids for a long time. And we were blessed with 2 beautiful babies, Kyler and Cadence, little boy, little girl. My wife Kimberly and I are truly blessed, man, because we know what it's like to try and to try, which there's some fun in the trying. But at some point, which a lot of people, it's not talked about as much, but it's not as easy as some people make it look, and it's true. So we're gonna spend some time with our kids, man, our little our little family, teaching them that it's all about LP and Santa Claus and the gifts. Man, there's a true king that came and has came to give us life and life to the fullest, man, and has paid the ultimate price on the cross. But I remember that is the reason for the season. So we're going to try to do that, be good dads and be good moms and enjoy that. And it's a lot of fun, after a win. Everything's a little bit better after a win.
Everything is better after a win. Now that's incredible. Like you said, man, this is a time of the year where myself and my family included, it's just all about reflection. And just gratitude, being thankful. Obviously last year around this time, like we were on a 9-game losing streak or something like that. But still, it's always this time of the year you're just thankful to be able to. I mean, I'm finishing my 10th year. This is what year for you? 14. Yeah. 14th season. To be here, like you say, you talk about the path that we both have been on. Is just incredibly blessed, and that's something that I also try to show my kids. Obviously, they're going to have the toys and all that good stuff, but just to remind them that, hey, like, the reason that this holiday is here is because of Jesus Christ. You know what I mean?
No doubt.
And that's one thing we always have to remember first and foremost, and just to be grateful. You know what I mean? Like, this is always, when it gets cold outside, it's always the time for thankfulness. It's always,
we got a lot to be thankful for.
A lot to be thankful for. We're blessed. But we're definitely blessed to be Chicago Bears.
No doubt.
Chicago Bears. I mean, this city has showed this team so much love this year. We definitely appreciate it, man. And the job's not done, though.
Not at all.
The job's not done. And we have 2 more games left. I mean, tonight we're definitely going to be tuned into the game tonight. I'm going to do a little bit of early self-scout. I have my tablet in front of me, but it also watch the game to see what kind of marries together as far as the film.
I've been watching ahead a little bit. I mean, they're a good football team.
They're really, I mean,
they've been up and down with some injuries, but man, anytime there's a team like that, that's just, they're always in the hunt.
Absolutely.
In December, they're a team that knows how to win.
For sure.
And that not everybody in this league knows how to win. So we definitely have our.
And I don't like to show a lot of love to my opponents, but I will say, out of coaches that I respect more in this league, especially as far as offensive play calls, obviously one of those guys is on our team. But Matt LaFleur, the guy we just played, who I had in Tennessee for a year, Sean McVay, and Kyle Shanahan. Something about that Shanahan tree, I don't know, is something about it, but Kyle Shanahan, I truly respect him as a play caller. He's going to have his guys ready to play against us. It's going to be a huge game out on the West Coast on Sunday night, another primetime game. But we know what's at stake. One of our goals is completed for this year, to put the playoffs.
Good.
But the main goal is still there, which is win a division. Well, I won't say the main goal, but that's a better goal. Number 1 seed. I won't say that's necessarily best. That's
on the way too.
That's like in between better and best.
Yeah.
Best is obviously that Lombardi, and that's what we're hunting for.
No doubt.
And we'll continue to chase that goal. But one day at a time, one game at a time. and we'll continue to do it. But Case, man, I appreciate you coming on to the show.
You, man.
This is a dope episode, man.
Yeah,
So
welcome.
appreciate you guys, man. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for watching Intercepted. Make sure to stay glued to the recap for new episodes all season here on YouTube.